What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to a live show. It's been a while. It's probably been about 2 weeks or so. Been out for a while, but we're back with a monthly regular show, and actually at the perfect time, I think, because it's um, it's all kicking off, literally. It's all close everywhere you look. Maybe not so much at the bottom half of the table, or one team, or yeah, it depends, But up top, it's all like literally close. It's tied at the top, So we're gonna talk about all of that, and we do play tomorrow. Or wait, you guys play tomorrow as well, the Coppa Italia, right? It's Wednesday, yeah.
Yep.
Okay, so we do play tomorrow. So we also have that to talk about. But first off, it's been more than a month, So how have you been?
I've been well. Happy Easter to you and happy Easter to anybody else. All is well in the personal realm. All is not well in the inter world. So I hate to backtrack on myself and say I told people so, but Antonio Conte was never your average enemy when you're chasing a Scudetto, when he's only got one competition. In any other season, yeah, this Inter team probably would have virtually wrapped up that major objective by now, but this is why we needed to be in a position much more comfortable than just one game in front in April. And some of us knew that going into April, if you were only touching distance away, then we were in a bit of a spot. And that's the spot that we're in at the moment. Culture is crazy. The world is crazy. We've got a delay in games for religious reasons now. I don't think many Inter fans are thinking of the Coppa, but we'll get all into it. I'm just really happy to be here with you right now because, to be honest, same with you. I just haven't really had the time to do many live streams on my own channel, let alone link up with anybody else. So it is nice to be able to do this show. And what about you, bro? How have you been? How are things?
Good. Went to Italy for a week, so that was fun. It feels like ages since our last game, which is good slash not so good. Good that being away from it a little bit feels good, but I know what's coming, or like what's potentially coming, so not looking forward to that. However, we're gonna talk about Juve in a bit. We're gonna first start off by talking about Inter because that's a show. It's Inter, Juve, and then Serie A in its own, basically. So the first, actually, I kind of named the title of the video "All is at risk" for both teams in different ways. For you guys, well, the title first off. I mean, Champions League, fine, but I think the title is the first thing that is quote unquote at risk, excuse me, because it's tied, which means at this moment in time it's a one-off game on in a neutral venue, probably the Olimpico, with no extra time, and it's straight pens if it's tied again. So that is the situation. You said in your intro that it was never going to be easy with Conte. Is it more Conte or is it more Inter kind of trying to throw it away? Because I remember that Napoli stretch where they hadn't won a game or one game in like 5 or 6, and that was against us, funnily enough. Right now, I'm looking like Conte is doing what he can with, I still think, a very meh squad, in my opinion. And he's doing what he needs to do, just try to win as many games as possible. I'm just looking at Inter right now, and I'm like, you should be like the experienced team. You should be getting it over the line, and throwing away, like, even though it wasn't a good game against Bologna, and I didn't watch the full 90 minutes, but from what I've seen, it wasn't a game where it's like you should have won. Like, it wasn't a good game. I thought an experienced Inter team would just be like, okay, fine, it's a point, in a close title race. We take the point and we run with it, basically, because Bologna are, in my opinion, a very good team. A team like 11 out there, very hard to beat, and for some reason you threw it away, and you actually made it extremely difficult for obvious reasons, because you play Champions League and your schedule, it's tougher. Like Napoli are playing nobody at this moment in time. You guys still have some quote unquote tough games. Like that's the reality of it. So is it really at risk? Losing out on the title.
Bro, it was at risk when we were chatting in January. The alarm bells were going off for me because of this reason. I knew this Inter team was capable of making a deep run in the Champions League, and I know it's not the be all and end all excuse. I know Inter's not the only team to ever go for a deep run in Europe and have to play slightly more games than their opposition, but it is a little different this time around because the congestion is a lot closer together, and we do have more adapted rules that we used to not have before in terms of extra super copper matches, etc. But still, for me, the point is that we should have known that we were going to get to April in a position where you had to have one or two get out of jail free cards. We had one and we played it. And yes, I know relative to the opponent, Bologna is a tough opponent to play at home, let alone to play away. But for me, I think that it was thrown away in pieces, not all at once. 2-2 against Parma in the 70th minute, we're up 2-0. 4-2 against you guys, up 4-2 with 18 minutes to play. Getting walloped 3-0 to Fiorentina in the repeat leg, repeat game because it was cancelled due to that unfortunate incident on the pitch. Genoa as well, we dropped 36 points there. I don't think we should have gone both Milan this season, not getting a victory there. But now I know I'm just nitpicking at every single result. Every team can go back and say, how did we not get points here? How did we not get points there? But you get the overall point. Is it at risk? Of course, it's been at risk for a long time. Is it lost? To fans like me, yeah. In reality, no, of course not, because Conte's Napoli could still drop points home or away. They still do play a negative brand of football. They could get into a tussle with Torino. They could get into a tussle with Lecce, but it's looking a lot better for them than it is for us. That's for damn sure.
Yeah, I'm I'm looking at Conte right now, and I will be absolutely stunned if he doesn't win out all the games that he still has to play. If he doesn't win out, I will be stunned. Like in this situation, with was it 6 games to go, I think, or 5 games for you guys? I think we
Sorry?
play. Is it 5 games to play for you guys still, or 6? I'm all over the place.
I believe it's six.
Um. Yeah, the sound is back, because there was a glitch. I got some negative feedback from YouTube, but it should be back right now. Um, I will be stunned if Conte drops point. But like you said, like you can look back at results happen, a couple of months ago and so on, but those things they happen, I guess. But I think the Parma one was bad, 2-0 up. Like nothing, like because I watched that second half completely, and I watched like 50 minutes of the first half, and that was a different Inter out there in the second half, and they gave Parma a goal and they gave Parma a life. But like that happens. The fact that you threw it away, that shouldn't happen. To an experienced side as Inter, the cup. I'm with you with the Champions League. Like those are like one-off games on the day. And like Arsenal. In the league, it's not fantastic in the league. They're, I don't know, 15 points, 12 points behind Liverpool, and in the Champions League, they bopped Real Madrid. Was a 5-1 on aggregate. Like it's a different thing, and we know that we've seen Chelsea win it twice when everybody was looking at that squad and was like, really? And in the league, they were like 7 or 10, twice. I don't know what it is. So the Champions League is what it is. It's a league that I'm actually stunned. I'm not gonna lie, because I thought Inzaghi got over that hurdle, which he did. But when he got over that hurdle, I thought now he has the best squad, in the league or whatever, the most experienced squad, and he's a good coach. he will just get it done, you know. And this season he should be getting it done. Like, I know Napoli play once a week, but I don't like when because I have a lot of Inter fans as well, you know, friends, and they use that as an excuse. I'm like, when we were winning 9 in a row, we played every 3 days, and we were competing with teams who played once a week, or they played Europa League games with their B squad and were out, you know, in the group stages and stuff like that. And we did what we had to do, you know, no excuses. If you're at the top, like that's a success. It comes with success. You play every 3 days, you know, it is what it is. You need to deal with it and you need to get on with it, you know. So I don't know if that's something the club or it's coming out from the club that they're using it as an excuse, because I'm not following it. I don't follow the Inter news, because if that is the case, then I am actually worried for you guys, you know, that you will actually throw it away, you know, because if there are actually rumors or feelings in and around the club that's like, oh, but they play once a week and stuff like that, I'm like, you cannot do that because you are the defending champ. Like, you are the better team. Like, it is what it is. It comes with the territory. You cannot complain about being the best team. Like, that's weird. So I don't know if that's the case, because I see a lot of Inter fans trying to use it. And I'm like, you cannot really do that. You know, you knew that at the start of the season. Like, that's not the reason why you threw the Parma game away, in my opinion, because you were 2-0 up. Why you give up a point in the last second against Bologna, like, that's not the reason, in my opinion. That's just me, you know. So I don't know how you are looking at it. Is it more about coaching? Is it about, you know, the players actually being tired? Because I don't know. Like, it's it's weird, because at one point I was like, you're gonna run away with it, and now I'm with you. I'm like, this looks weird. Like, this looks actually weird. It looks like that Napoli or Conte really got into their heads, where it's like, oh shit, they're not going away, you know. But I mean, you won it last season. Like, you need to deal with the pressure, you know. Like, it's a weird one. I don't know what it is, because it's the same. Like, you play well one week, in my opinion, and then the following week it's not that good. Even when you got a couple results lately, it wasn't all that good. And funnily enough, Lautaro is showing up, like, and he's been big time, which is actually helping you guys in a lot of games lately. Because if that wasn't happening, I thought you would be in a much worse position, which is ironic, because at the start of the season we were talking about Lautaro, and it was the flip side. It was like, he's not really helping you guys here, you know. So I don't know, what is it? Is it really fatigue, or like, is it more the mindset right now that they're like, snap, like, Conte is still there, it's not going away.
I think you make great points. I think what we can bring this all back to is, and this is what I said the other day to a friend. I go, it's not the same caliber of team that used to play mentally or physically. This team might be really, really good at the moment in Italy. But Ale, be serious with me. Is the quality in Italy the highest you've seen it in your life?
No, no,
Is
no.
it in the top 3 eras of quality that you've seen in your life?
No, wait, no,
Top
no.
5? Top 5 even?
Maybe, like, from
Maybe,
what I can
possibly.
recall, you know, vividly,
Yeah. This
maybe.
Inter team is not as good as your Juve team that did it on all fronts.
It's probably not as good in respective to a lot of teams that are fighting on all fronts most seasons. There are elements of it being overrated, but also at the same time, everything that you said needs to be taken into accountability. I liked what you said. It comes with territory, and this team does not know how to build a dynasty, because if it did, we wouldn't have bombed the league 3 seasons ago to that Pioli. You know what I mean? We also wouldn't have let Napoli run away with it in January 2 seasons ago, when we were right on their neck and beat them in January to close the gap to like 2 or 3 points. And then we lost the week after to Empoli, and then we drew the week after that. And then before you know it, in 8 days, 2 points was 8. And then they ran away with it. This team has never struck me as a team that would build
and just keep building and go from strength to strength, because we don't add quality in the transfer markets. We inject players here and there, but we don't inject with so much quality. There are players in this team that should have been able to contribute more this season, which is why we've gone through patches where certain players have played well, certain players haven't, certain have stepped up, certain haven't. But there's a lot of players that have given and offered nothing. We're starting walking tomorrow. We started him 4 days ago. Like, how is there not a forward-thinking player in the Primavera that can take his spot at this point? Or is it just modern day sport and ego clout with management? You have to pay, you have to play for the pieces that you paid for. And that's just ridiculous, man. Mehdi Taremi has had one of the worst seasons for an Inter attacker that I've seen in my life as an Inter fan. It's absolutely been horrendous.
Yeah, he's been awful.
We've had players that have made mistakes in certain moments, but that's not the be-all and end-all to blame. I think this team has got tunnel vision for the Champions League, because at the end of the day, they are a lot of them are a bunch of big kids, and I know for a fact that they don't put in 100% in the Serie A where they do in the Champions League. Like the way we played against Bayern Munich, there's no way that we didn't replicate 20% of that tenacity, that grinta against Bologna. And there's a title on the line here, Ale. It's match day 33, for God's sake. And Conte has not effed off. And so I think we kept telling ourselves, these are the players, we kept telling ourselves that it wasn't getting to us. But now it's too late to let it get to you. He's there. He's there, man. And he's a fucking demon, bro. And at the moment, he's got it in his sights. And this is not his first rodeo. This is not his first time. So he will go tooth and nail for it. In regards to the first thing that you mentioned, is that news coming out of the club, that excuse of Napoli playing 1 day a week? No, that hasn't even trickled out of our club. That is a 101% fan complaint thing. Definitely. Hopefully I've answered everything there.
Yeah, I mean, for like you said with Conte, I watched their game against. They were horrible. Like they were absolute. Or like watch, I had it on. They were horrible, you know. And I was places in Italy, and they were showing the game until McTominay scored. It was unwatchable. You know, it was really unwatchable. But I don't think anyone cares about that at Napoli.
No.
Nor does Conte does, because for him it's like it's 1-0 all the way. It doesn't matter, you know, if it's McTominay with a header every single week, it's McTominay with a header every single week, you know. And to be honest, I saw people complaining about it, so I was like, oh, you cannot be that horrible and win the league. Well, you can, because like you said, the league is not all that great. And to be honest, like nobody's gonna rate that Napoli squad. Like, let's be completely honest. This is all Conte. Like European teams are not lining up to sign Napoli players this summer, and that's not even me trying to be disrespectful. That's just me telling you how ridiculously good of a job Conte is doing. You know, because to be honest, no, that would not be honest. But I was trying to say, like, I don't know their starting 11. You know, I know them, but you know what I mean. Like, it's not household names where it's like, oh my god, they're gonna lose a lot of players. They're not gonna lose any players. I think. Like, I don't see who is coming for those players, and that's not trying to be disrespectful. That's just the ridiculous job Conte is doing, and now he's tied. Like, he knows what the deal is. Like you said, it's just being tight. Like that's the only thing you can do right now.
By the way, sorry to interrupt, only because it's important. I believe I'm seeing a lot of reports that if it does end up on tied points, that we are actually going to get the home game because we have a goal difference advantage. I'm not saying that to show bias. I'm saying that because I've received like 3 articles on WhatsApp. So I'm not too sure.
Okay.
In fact, keep going. I might check that up now because I haven't actually researched it myself. So keep going, and I'll make sure to reference that for us.
Okay. No, I had Sky Italia on, and they said the rule changed 2 seasons ago, where it's like not natural venue, period. But you could be right, you know, because I thought that was the rule as well a month or 2 ago. You know, I thought it was the team who had the best goal or whatever gets the home game. You know, but I don't know. According to Sky, they changed it and it's natural venue, period, but it's still far away from that. It will be, for a neutral fan, it will be insane, but I think for an Inter fan, it will be horrible. For a Napoli fan, it will probably be like, yeah, we'll take it, because at the start of the season, well, nobody thought we would be in this situation. So we'll do it, natural venue. Anything can happen on the day. But yeah, man, I think it is at risk, even though I still believe we're going to win it. Right now, it feels like it's a bit of at risk. Like, that's just the reality of the matter. Okay, let's move on to the other side. The other side of the spectrum, I'm gonna say, because we play tomorrow. We should have played yesterday. We should have played, but everybody knows why the game didn't happen. It is what it is. We move on. We play tomorrow, and the question you wanted to ask was Tudor in for next season, and funnily enough, I don't know. Like, if he gets top 4, cool. He probably could be sacked still, or not renew, basically. He can get top 4 or not get top 4. I don't think that's any reason for ownership to say, okay, now we're going to stick with you. And right now it's obvious, like, everybody knows that. He knows that. I saw already reports and people, saying, it's disrespectful. Like, it's not disrespectful. He knew what he signed up for. Like, I don't want to hear that right now. I like him as a person, whatever. As a coach, okay, it's not mind blowing or anything like that. But I don't feel sorry that he's in this situation right now. Like, he signed up for the idea to get top 4 and potentially convince ownership. And with ownership, I just mean Elkan at this point, because it's clear that he's going to make the decision. He made this decision and he's going to make the decision at the end of the season. So I don't feel sorry for Tudor. He knows what the job description was. He accepted it, and now we need to deal with it. He needs to get us into the top 4, and then, he needs to probably pray that Elkan wakes up and is like, you know what, I'll give you another season, a full season, to show me what you can do with this club. That being said, I don't think he's going to be here at next season. If Elkan has 1% chance of signing Conte, he's gone. And he's doing anything possible to bring him back to the club. It's as simple as that right now, because even if he gets us into top 4 Tudor and Elkan hears that Conte is out of Napoli and he's willing to come back, he's coming back this summer. I think that's it, and is that disrespectful towards Tudor? Is that not fair? He signed up for it, so I'm gonna say no. If this was out of the blue, if the news was he's gonna get next season as well, and then it's Conte, I'm like, oh, you cannot do this. But everybody knows the contract is until the Club World Cup, and then we will evaluate. That's the news. That's the how do you want to say, like, the word out of the club officially, basically. So then at that point, I'm like, yeah, like, I don't feel sorry for you. You just need to do your job right now, and that's getting us into top 4, which I still think he's not going to achieve, and it's not because of him. It's because I do not trust these group of players. I don't, everything that transpired after they sacked Motta actually empowered my position to say they're not going to make it. These guys are just not going to make it, So, Tudor in for next season? I don't think so, to be honest. Right now, I don't think so.
It's similar situation as us in terms of points. You had multiple opportunities this season under Thiago Motta to win the games that you needed to win. If 2 or 3 results this season go differently for you, that should have gone differently for you, you'd be sitting here with a 6-point cushion, 7-point cushion on 5th position, maybe even looking above that, challenging for a league. But it goes back to what I said before. Every single one of these teams, probably every team in general, can look at their season and look where it went wrong and say, what if? But the fact of the reality is that Bologna are a good team. And I know for a while people thought that Atalanta were going to drop off. But even if they do, drop a couple of games now. Like 5 points in 5 games that's where you're starting to look at it and go, these aren't easy points to make up anymore. There's a golden rule that some people say that when you've got more points that you need to make up in between the games that are left, that's it. You can't do it. If you need 4 points in 3 games, that's really tough. If you need 9 points in 8 games, that's really tough. And now we're level, you're level. Bologna has a tough schedule though, man. It's going to be Bologna or you guys. So like Gasperini's Atalanta, they'll easily get there now. Sorry, you guys can't make up 5 points on Atalanta, but Bologna's schedule, compiled with the fact that they've got the Coppa Italia, it's still a big pain in the ass. But you know what? They came out of Napoli, Atalanta, and Inter with 4 points out of 9. I mean, I know it's not 9 points, but still something.
Yeah, people thought they would be dropping more points. That's my own thing. Like I was convinced they were not dropping as many points. We have a game in hand. Like it's on our own hands. You win against Parma tomorrow, you're 2 points clear of Bologna again, and you're 2 points off Atalanta. Like it's on our. We play Bologna as well. We play Lazio, and we play Bologna. It's away from home twice, 2 weeks in a row, back to back away from home, but you have it in your own hands. Like if he goes out there and somehow he convinces these players to beat Bologna, Lazio and Bologna back to back, then you're in it. And I'm like, fair play, because you somehow turned these guys into real human beings. I'm gonna say, after what I've witnessed all season. So it's in our own hands. You win out, you're in, literally, because you have the advantage, and you beat Lazio and you beat Bologna in the meantime, then you're in. Like it's done. You put them, I don't know, 5 points away. Like it's done. So that is the quote unquote thing we have going for ourselves. I guess. What is crazy is when I look at the table, we lost 3 games. We lost less games than Napoli and Inter in the league. That's actually crazy if you think about it. The flip side is we drew 14 games. 14. That, like, the only time that happened, I think, is when we won the league with Conte in the first season. Even though I think we drew 13 or 14 games, but still, it's way too much. Like, it's way too much. That is the issue of our season. We should have won. If we won 3 more games, which is very realistic, we wouldn't be in this position. We threw some random games away, and now we're in this situation where it's like, you better deliver, or it's going to be a very, very weird and long summer for us. But my thing is, I don't trust these players, and Bologna look like the better team right now. I know they have a tough schedule, but people say the tough schedule, and I get it, but they play Milan. Like, is that tough? Like, I don't think that's tough, to be honest. They play Fiorentina. Is that, yeah, they're a good team, but you would assume also that they make the Conference League final again, probably this season. I don't know who they play. I don't know who Fiorentina play in the semis, but I'm assuming they're going to make it for the 3rd time in a row. In my opinion, yeah, I mean,
they play Real Betis.
Oh, it's tough. But I still think that
the better team that's left.
It's Chelsea as well on the other on the other side.
Far out. You know what? It might have taken all the way to the semi-finals, but it looks like that competition might be worth tuning into for 1 minute now. Which is usually the way it goes with useless competitions. Who's the other team in the Final Four?
I forgot. Chelsea. They're playing an easy game. Chelsea, I think. I forgot. Like I have no idea, to be honest. They beat Legia Warsaw. I don't know who the other team is.
I can't even pronounce the team that they're playing. I'm not even going to try.
Oh, now I'm curious. Anyways, which country?
Yeah, go on. Bro, like, I don't even know that. What the hell? Like, what country is that? Oh, is that Slovenia? Like,
really?
It can't be. Allsvenskan.
What?
Allsvenskan league. Is that the Swedish league?
Let me see who they're playing. Now I want to know.
What's the Alves Khan League? Is that Swedish or
Oh,
Danish?
Dew Gardens. Are they playing Dew Gardens? Yeah, they're playing Dew. It's Sweden.
Yeah.
It's Swedish.
Sweden, cool.
Yeah. So I mean, it's on in our own hands. You know, if we don't make it, it's because of us. Like that's the reality. If we don't make it, it's not because of Bologna. It's because of us. Because it's on our own hands, literally. You know, it's not that we're points behind because we still need to play tomorrow, but it's in our hands. You know, you win out, you're in. I know it sounds easy, but that like I don't think Bologna are gonna win out. You know, or Lazio are gonna win out. You know, so it's in our hands. We're not catching up. You know, you have to just make. You just need to get the results. That's this quote unquote. Like it won't get any simpler. You know, you're not catching up. You don't need to hope. You need to hope Bologna drop points because we're not going to win out. But in theory, you don't need to sit there. We win out, but we still need to hope Bologna drop points. Otherwise, we're not going to make it. You win out, you're in. That's it. It's easy as it gets. It starts tomorrow with Parma, which I think is very difficult because they're fighting for their lives. And I've seen against Inter how things can go really quickly, literally really quickly, out of the blue as well, based on that first half. So it starts tomorrow, and yeah, he better delivers, you know, because I don't like the talk already saying, oh, it's something new, it's fantastic. It's been 3 games, and
Yeah.
I mean, I've been impressed with like one half of football, basically. You know, when we didn't beat Roma, and in that second half, we absolutely did the bare minimum, you know, and not even push for a win, and people were happy about it. I'm like, come on, like we cannot drop any low. Like the bar is so low. I refuse to set it even lower, you know, and people can call me negative or whatever, but I'm not going to celebrate a 1-1 away to Roma when we needed to win. Like, that's impossible for me to celebrate. And good thing Tudor came out and said the game was good compared to what we shown in the past. However, it's still not what we need to do. You know, we need to win. You know, I don't care that Roma were on a hot streak on that in that game on that day. You had more than enough to beat that Roma side. They struggled to get out of their own half at one point. You know, and we didn't went for the kill. You know, so I'm not gonna praise those things, to be honest. And the following week we won, and it was a good first half, and we did what we had to do. But then again, you know, towards the end, you can see it and you can feel the team is still shaky. You know, and that is my issue. So it's gonna be interesting tomorrow. What we're gonna do to Parma, if we're gonna show up. I have no idea.
Just for reference, Parma, I'm pretty sure they're 3 points above the relegation zone, so they're going to be a sticky side for basically anybody that comes up against them. Them, Lecce, and Venezia, you sort of want to avoid it at this point.
Well, we play Venezia.
Relegation teams like the plague.
On the final day, we play Venezia away from home.
Oh, do you? Oh, shit.
That's why you need to wrap it up before. Like, you need to beat Bologna and Lazio. Well, Parma, Monza, Bologna, Lazio. And then it's a wrap. You know, you have Udinese and Venezia. The next 4 games need to be 4 wins. You need to beat Parma, go home to Monza, beat them, and then it's Lazio and Bologna back-to-back away. If you win the next 4, it's over. You know, you play Udinese at home and then Venezia away from home. Like, you need to win out in the next 4 games, and then you're probably in. You know, I know it sounds easy because 2 of those games are Lazio away and Bologna away. You know, but in the worst case scenario, win the next 2, do not lose the following 2 to Lazio and Bologna, and then you're still on top, you know, and then you need to finish it off. But it's not fun. I'm not gonna lie. The situation we're in, it's absolutely not fun. Like, stressing about top 4. I've been there way too many times the last 5 years, and I'm done with it. But yeah, let's move on. Conte. You wanted to talk about Conte in his future. We touched on it a little bit. I touched on it a little bit. So I'll give you a go. Because he's speaking a lot. And you know what it is? I rate De Laurentiis for just saying whatever, because he knew what he signed up for, you know. He knew what he did, you know. So I actually am impressed that De Laurentiis is not leaking stuff or coming out and saying stuff, but Conte in a full title race is basically saying this place is not great, you know. And I'm like, that's actually insane. If you never heard of Conte, it would be insane. You're like, what the hell are you doing? You're in a title race. But for him, and even in the media, it's like, it's normal when he comes out and he said, I understand that certain things cannot be done at this club. And I'm like, Jesus, like, you're tied on points for the title, and you're basically calling this place, well, not fantastic. So what do you make of all of this? What do you think his future holds? Is it still at Napoli if he wins the league, or if he doesn't win the league? Does it change anything for him?
I actually think he's more likely to stay if he doesn't win the league. I think if he does win the league, it's a virtual guarantee that he's going to leave, because it's Conte's ego above everything. It'll just be Inter all over again. You know, he left the year after because he couldn't build on top of that squad and thought he didn't have a squad good enough to carry on. And I think he was a little shitty with the fact that they didn't spend any of the Crava money properly.
Yeah.
But I always thought that he probably had a golden handshake or a verbal agreement saying that, look, deal with what you've got this season, because we're going to sell Victor as well. And then you've got the entire bag to work with for season 2. And that's what I thought would have been done, because, you know, there's also been a lot of money pumped into their sporting project in the background and some infrastructure as well. Oriali's there. His whole team is there. Like, I refuse to believe, even though it's Conte and no one was surprised when he came out and said it, is it really that easy to jump ship just like that? Or is he trying some sort of other mental tactic, some sort of mind game? Because the way that everybody would have to uproot their lifestyle just to suit him, as per usual Conte, it's absolutely bizarre. Like you said, if you didn't know who he was and this is the first time you looked at him, you'd think the guy's a bit of a psychopath, to be honest. But I guess it's just him. It's just him. And we've seen this story before. He could very well win this Scudetto and then take one of his, you know, famous extended leaves, his famous sabbaticals for about 6 months. You'll see him post photos with his family on Instagram, smiling in about 13 different locations. And then midway through next season, the rumors will start that he's going to go back to you guys. And I think it's inevitable that he ends up back at you guys. But yeah, it's bizarre, isn't it? The way he conducts himself. You'd think he would have just let this season play out the way it is, but no.
I think
Kudos to him for being able to emotionally and mentally juggle all of this in his head. He must enjoy it. Like, he has to, because I'm exhausted just reading about it and talking to you about it now. But this guy actually lives the dream.
I mean, yeah. I mean, he signs up for things knowing what it's gonna be, and then he's like, I'm gonna complain about it, you know. And I'm like, you knew what you kind of signed up for. And I think De Laurentiis knew as well, you know, when people are linking him to us and then the backstories are like, oh, De Laurentiis is never letting him go, there's probably something in place, you know, where it's like, I'm out, I'm dipping, you know, goodbye, you know. I tried to do what you asked me to do. I don't believe any club can hold Conte kind of hostage, you know. I don't think that's possible. I think he's too smart for it, in my opinion, you know. So I think that's also why De Laurentiis is kind of quiet, because he's like, we're in a title race. I cannot do anything really about it, you know. I cannot go in because that will be weird. I cannot back him right now because that will be weird, because he's complaining. That is also going against him as well, you know. Where if De Laurentiis comes out and he's like, now we're gonna back Conte in the summer and so on, Conte's like, you didn't do that in January when it was needed, you know, when you had the money and so on. So I think him leaving Napoli is not really an issue. I think if he wants out, he's out. We've seen in the past, like, he's gone, you know. And I think nobody's stopping him in the process. But yeah, I mean, when he came out and he said certain things are impossible to do at Napoli, we know what he's talking about, you know. I mean, they got the Farah money and they were trying to spend that on Garnacho, and I'm like, that's insane, and a good thing they didn't do it, for themselves, I guess. But
Yeah.
when they're being linked with players like De Winter for a starting position, I don't think Conte's sitting there and he's like, fantastic, That's not fantastic. If those are the main targets to be a starter, then I can understand what Conte's like. I'm not doing this again. I'm sorry, guys. This is not for me. I get the situation, but I cannot go again with Europe next season with the Winter starting. I'm not trying to disrespect the Winter, but if you want to become that club, then that's still not good enough, for main guys. So I think that's a situation where it's like, if I win the league here, it's done. It's done. And if I don't win the league, it's also done, because we're not gonna get that much better with playing every 3 days, because that squad needs. They have an 11. And that 11 is still not quality enough, in my opinion. Like you said, the style of football they play is for a reason. It's. I don't think Conte wants to play that style of football. It's extreme this season, but he knows he has to. He's not gonna go play every 3 days and win again with Raspadori and Politano doing that over and over again. Like it's just not gonna happen. And he knows that there needs to be done so much. And I'm not sure if he wants to be part of that, And it sounds weird, because when I talk about, the flip side, he might come back to Juve, and we are in a worse position. I think he knows that he's like, there's more quality in that squad. I can make it work, There are more options. I can make it work. I don't care what the previous guys failed to do with that squad. I will be able to make it work, And knowing that at this club, at Juve, there's always more money. Even without Champions League, there's just more money to spend, period. So he knows that situation as well. That, I'm not saying it's a done deal. He's joining us. I'm not saying that. But I think it's clear that he's leaving the door wide open for anyone at this moment in time. So it's interesting. But yeah, I mean, I saw Napoli fans, some of them complain, and a lot of them saying it is what it is. Like, we knew what we signed up for. Like, it's impossible for us now to complain about it. It's like Juve is signing Balotelli, and then complaining that he's doing random shit.
No one was
it's
surprised.
like, yeah,
no one was surprised. Like, no one's really reacted in any way and going, "Oh my god, did you see what Conte said?" Whether you're a Napoli fan, a Juve fan, like, we're all just, everybody from the media, like you said, everyone's just sort of shrugged it off and went, "Yeah, this is like literally right on cue."
Yeah, I mean, it's just the timing is weird, but yeah. Let's move on. Let's move on to the final topic of the show, and that's, like we always do, wrap it up a bit. Called it a crazy ending, which it is. We touched on it. We touched it already. The title, it's tied right now, and it could be tied, and it could become very wow, and unique. I guess I've seen it in the Belgium league about 10 or 12 years ago, where it's like everything tied and you play home and away. It was over here, so that was that, but usually don't get these type of endings. Then top four, we touched on it: Bologna, Lazio, Juve. It's probably between those teams. Roma are still there, but I mean, if Juve win tomorrow, it's 5 points. That seems a lot to make up for, in my opinion. So yeah, Lazio. I think it's Lazio, Bologna, and Juve fighting for it. But yeah, the back end of the table has become very interesting. And a couple of weeks ago, I was like, yeah, it's kind of a wrap, And right now, if you look at it, between Empoli and Cagliari, it's 5 points, which is a lot, 5 points. So I think Cagliari should be good, for a relegation side to make up 5 points with 6 games to play, or 5 games to play for them, that's a lot, So I think Cagliari should be fine. It's between Parma, Lecce, Venezia, and Empoli. And I want to start by saying, and I think I said it on the last show or one of the shows, where it's like, Di Francesco, if he keeps this Venezia side in the league, hand him coach of the season, because that is, bar Monza, that's one of the worst squads I've seen in Serie A.
It's a worse squad than Monza. It's twice as bad as Monza's squad. I don't care what anybody says. Pound for pound, player for player, that Venezia squad is so Serie B, man. It really is.
It's really bad, you know, and because I started picking up points, and I was like, let me check out the squad again. Maybe I was overreacting, and I wasn't overreacting. I'm sorry, you know, that's literally a Serie B squad playing in Serie A. You know, it's really bad, and for some reason, he is still alive. You know, he's still alive, and he's battling it out with Empoli, who got lucky at the end of last season. Was it with Young's goal in the last second, and they stayed up? I cannot stand Empoli. I hope they go down. Like it's not a fun stadium. Like it's horrible. I'm not gonna lie. You know, watching Empoli games at home is horrible. Like I'm sorry. Like it's unwatchable. The stadium, like there's no the fans. You cannot hear it. Like it's really bad to watch. So they can go down. The Venezia Stadium is awful as well. They can go down as well. I don't care about those clubs, to be honest. Parma, it's cool if they stay up. Lecce, also not a good squad, you know, to be honest. They're in trouble, Lecce. I thought a couple of weeks ago, like, yeah, they're gonna make it, but they play Atalanta, they play Napoli, they play Lazio. I mean, it's really not looking good for them as well. For Venezia, they play us. They play Milan. They play Fiorentina. Also a tough schedule, even though I think the Lecce schedule is tougher. The bad news is the Empoli schedule. They have Verona, Monza, Parma, Lazio, and Fiorentina. So they have Fiorentina now, Bologna in the cup, but they're out of it as well. They have Fiorentina now, Lazio, and the last 3 games are Parma, Monza, and Verona. So for them, it's slightly more positive. I'm gonna call it. And for Lecce, it's Atalanta. I said it. Excuse me. For Parma, I was Parma loaded. It's us tomorrow. Then it's Lazio. It's Como, Empoli, Napoli, and Atalanta. They have a brutal schedule. Like they play us, Lazio, Napoli, and Atalanta in their last 6 games. That's brutal, you know. And then they have the clash with Empoli and Como, but they have a brutal schedule. Really, really bad, you know. Because I mean, I don't know, man. Who do you think is gonna make it? I went back and forth with it. I still think Venezia are gonna drop because just pure the lack of quality. And I'm gonna throw Empoli in it this season as well.
Yeah, I didn't have Empoli there at the start. I had Venezia, Lecce, and Verona. Verona's the one team that got away from it just a little more than I thought that they would. I think bar Kristovic, there's nobody that's really caught anybody's eye for Lecce this season. Venezia, with the schedule that they've got, you expect them to drop points, but you just never know. You never know who's going to be able to turn out. Like 1 point is worth so much in between Empoli and Lecce at the moment. There's only 1 point separates them.
Yeah,
it's impossible to call. I think that because of how horrendously shit they've been, especially in 2025, Empoli deserve to go down. Like they deserve to go down with you. I think that the way that they have played. And you know what? I can't believe they got through against you guys in that.
You know what's sad? They won. I need to it's depressing, but let me count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. The last 20 games, they won nothing. Besides our game
haven't won in 20
on Pence.
Besides that Coppa Italia.
On Pence, yeah. The last game they won was the 8th of December, 4-1 away to Verona. That's the last game.
They haven't won a game all year. They need to get relegated, man.
They haven't won a game all year. No, they haven't. They literally haven't. The last win was in 24. And then it was like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, else 12. One of them was in the Coppa.
Did you read their fixtures already that are coming up?
Yeah, I did. They play Bologna in the cup, but that's that. They play Fiorentina away from home.
They're going to snake safety again right at the end because they got Parma, Monza, and Verona in the final 3 days. Watch them pull 5 or 6 points out of their cooler in the last 2 match days and stay up.
It's a horrible team to watch.
And I reckon they're saying that as well. I reckon they're saying, same deal as last season. We'll get to the last few games. Don't stress.
Well, it'll be a miracle because they haven't won in 25. Yeah, against us on pens, but literally, that's pens. Within 90 minutes, they haven't won a game since that time. And the weird thing is, before and the last one was against Verona, the 8th of December, and the one before that was the 4th of November against Como. So yeah, I'm shocked. That's the form. I didn't think it was that bad. I'm not gonna lie. That's horrible. That's actually insane. Anyways, next question. Who's gonna get that 6th spot? Roma are sitting there right now. You would assume Lazio are not really. Well, anything is possible, to be honest. But Fiorentina are still there with a game in hand. They're 4 points off. Milan are 6 points off. I think that's done. Is it just going to be Roma?
Well, considering we're probably not going to tee up again before the end of the season, because what have we got? Literally a month left. It's possible. It's possible you and I could tee up pretty much in the last few days of the season. But in that sense, I think Lazio is going to get 6th, man. I've got you guys at 4th in my head. I've got Bologna at 5th and Lazio at 6th.
Okay, let me see Lazio's schedule because I have not. They play Genoa, then they play Parma. They play Empoli, they play us, they play Inter, they have an easy schedule, if I'm not gonna lie. It's Genoa away from home. It's Parma at home, Empoli away, it's us at home, it's you guys away from home, and then it's Lecce. They have an easy schedule, I'm not gonna lie. And actually, how many points are they off? 3 points off us. They're still in it. They're also still in it.
Still very much in it. Yeah, it's this. We're going week by week now, man. Anything can change. It's so useless having this conversation where we're at right now.
But you would assume they beat Parma and Empoli and Genoa. You would maybe Genoa away from home is a bit more tricky than just say they're gonna beat them. But Parma at home and Empoli away from home, you would assume they beat those teams. And then yes, it's us and Inter back to back and Lecce on the final day. So I think they have the easiest schedule, because I think they do. I'm not gonna lie. Also because it's a lot of home games as well.
Yeah, you're probably right. I'm looking at the home games as well. I think that we're going to beat them on the second last match. I think Inter's going to win all of their remaining home games. Where we're going to drop points is on the road. But
what do you guys play?
I can see.
Oh yeah, you had a tough schedule.
Sorry?
Torino away from home.
If we didn't have Champions League, I wouldn't call it a tough schedule. We've got Roma at home, Verona, Torino, Lazio, Como. That's not a hard schedule. Not for defending champions and not for a team closing out a title, especially when the 2 hardest games, the ones against Lazio and Roma, are both at the San Siro.
Yeah.
So no, we don't have a ridiculously hard schedule, contrary to what some of the Inter fans are saying as well. On paper, the opponents are not hard. The congestion is repulsive. You can't even look at it, to be honest. In between Roma and Verona is where we'll play Barcelona. I think the news came out this morning. I haven't read the hundreds of messages on the chats of people, calling it a farce. I think that we've got a little bit more time to rest for Roma, but a little bit less time to rest for Barcelona.
Yeah. You play Sunday.
And there's the all-important Coppa Italia second leg semi-final tomorrow. All important
depending on how you look at it.
Yeah, you will get over the line against Milan. I'm sorry. It's just gonna be
Yeah,
by
well,
default.
we've been saying that for a few games now, Ale, and it just hasn't happened. And something just tells me that you'd see the way they stunk it up against Atalanta. Milan love a good stink fest before they come up against us this season. And Conceição packed 2 cigars from Portugal, not one. I'm 100% sure he's gonna light another one, man. But no matter what happens, Bologna is going to win the Coppa Italia anyway, mate. So it doesn't matter which Milan team is going through to that final because Bologna is going to spank their asses.
I don't know. Like those teams like Atalanta, Bologna, they do well, and then in the end, it's like Atalanta last season. You know, they face a horrible Juve side all over the place, and actually in that game, it's 1-0. It should have been 3-1 for us. Like it was an easy win. Throughout 90 minutes, we were never in trouble, you know, and nobody expected that going into that game. It was like, yeah, they're just gonna beat us, you know, because we were arriving in that game, you know, by I don't know how. Like we made it, but like we were such a shambolic place, and we turned up because it was a final, and we just turned up. It is what it is, I guess. So I hope Bologna win it. You know, good for them. But I think in a final, at the end of the day, heritage comes up most of the time. It pops up.
They should have saved the blazer that Allegri took off last season and auctioned it off.
Auctioned it off
to the highest bidder, bro. Well, they should have sat on it for a year and then auctioned it off.
But yeah, man. Crazy end to the season, but it's good, I guess. Not for me. You know, we should have wrapped it up by now, and then it was just. It's still a lost season, but in a different way. It was just like, yeah, Club World Cup, whatever that is. I don't think anyone really is stressing about that. You know, not me. I'm just going into it. I'm like, whatever, you know, if you win a couple of games, cool. If you don't win it, then cool as well. You know, I mean, it's more about money, I think, than actually anyone. Also, the squad, like half our squads is on loan. They're gone. So I don't even know how many players we have to turn up. You know, it's a complete mess, you know, if I'm being completely honest. It's weird. And yeah, it's just a vibe, you know, it's just whatever, I guess. But we'll see. Maybe we'll talk. Probably not. I think when is the final match day? Is it? Let me check.
The final match day is on the 25th of May.
Okay, so probably we're gonna do the next show after the season ended. I think that makes the most sense, I guess. I think that makes the most sense.
The Champions League final is the week after that, which should be the final match day of the calendar year.
Okay, so we'll probably do it after the Serie A and then in between the Champions League final, which makes the most sense. And let's see, a lot to play for. We've done this in the past, you know, talked about things, predicted things, and then the next show we were so wrong or so right. But yeah, that's, I don't know, the good thing about sport, I guess, depending on which we can come on in the next show, be depressed like how both or one can be excited. I will not be excited, yeah, either way. You know, for me, that's not possible.
At the end of the day, it's a different sort of pain, but it's still pain. Like we know, like for us to lose this Scudetto would be fucking earth shattering. It would be shattering. For you guys to miss top 4, it's shattering for different reasons. It's not necessarily heartbreaking. It's head pounding, if that makes sense. It's well done. You didn't break my heart, but well done. You just effed yourselves for another 3 years financially. You've just put yourselves 2.5 to 3 years behind schedule where you were before, by missing out on Champions League qualification in the modern era. So it would be a head-pounding sort of pain for you, whereas it would be a heartbreaking pain for me.
Yeah, I agree. But again, it is what it is. You know, I'm just happy it's almost over this season. That's the only thing. It flew over the season, and for me, that's a good thing. I'm not gonna lie. Like, couldn't be more happy that it's almost done. But anyway, people, like the video, subscribe to the channel. Also, subscribe to Anthony's channel. You just can click the link in the title, and it takes you straight to his channel, where the next show is going to be. Like I said, between most likely the end of the Serie A and the Champions League final, so we can wrap it up and maybe preview an Inter final, which I think you will make, by the way. But we will see about that. And yeah, that's it for me, Anthony. Thanks for coming on, and speak to you guys in a week or so. No, that's in a month or so, and I don't know. No good news for me. Maybe good news for you, I guess, which makes it even more bad news for me if it's good news for you. But yeah, I don't want to think about that now.
See, man.
Anyways, people,
We'll see, bro.
thanks for watching, and speak to you guys tomorrow post game. Ciao.
Ciao.